being here with another review for you. So our It's a Wonderful Podcast patrons voted for me to cover a specific genre of film this month, and I gave them a few choices of things that fit kind of the November holiday kind of season, and they chose dysfunctional family films. So I'll be talking some of those all month long, and today I am talking about Life as a House from 2001, directed by Irwin Winkler. So yeah, Life as a House stars Kevin Kline, Kristen Scott Thomas, Mary Steenburgen, Jena Malone, and a very whiny Hayden Christensen. If you thought he was whiny in the prequels, you haven't seen anything yet until you see him in Life as a House. So the story follows Kevin Kline. He is an architect who finds out he's dying of cancer, so he uses this as the big push to finally build the dream house that he's been talking about building for years. And he decides he wants to do it with his son, his estranged son, played by Hayden Christensen. He's very distant and he does drugs, and he's living with his mother, played by Kristen Scott Thomas. She has married a rich husband, since her and Kevin Kline divorced. She's married a rich husband and she has 2 sons with him, so they live in this very nice house, but he is very much isolated, locks himself in his room, is huffing and sniffing things, and has blue hair and piercings all in his face, and just your very kind of stereotypical troubled teen. And so she's kind of had a rough time kind of trying to get him on the right track, and so Kevin Kline kind of pushes for him to stay with him for the summer and help him build this house. Kind of refers back to the very difficult, tumultuous relationship he had with his own father, and now that he knows that he's dying, he does not want to kind of have the same relationship with his own son. So he takes this opportunity to really kind of try to build this relationship back up with his own son, his estranged son, Hayden Christensen, and leave him something, leave him this legacy of this house. So it's really important to him to make this happen, and so he kind of almost kidnaps Hayden Christensen to come stay with him for the summer against his will. So he is very whiny to help him build this house. It's a very kind of uphill battle Kevin Kline has to fight to get Hayden Christensen to even want to participate in this project or to even kind of communicate with him. It's very contentious, and Kevin Kline tries to kind of get in there and have these kind of emotional conversations with him, but Hayden Christensen is just very much cutting him off. So it takes a lot for him to kind of break Hayden's shell and really kind of work on this relationship and build this house. So it's a really fun story in terms of how seeing this accomplishment, seeing how they're going to make this happen, how they're going to work on this relationship, and how this house is going to get built, and what that means and what that signifies. So yeah, it's a really kind of very emotional story in that aspect as well. There's some really interesting kind of comedic scenes as well. Jena Malone plays the next door neighbor. Her mother is Mary Steenburgen, so they're kind of popping in the story, and Jena Malone kind of takes a liking to Hayden Christensen, so she's kind of a thing that helps maybe open him up a little bit. Hayden Christensen, I think, gives a great performance in terms of, being that very much a troubled teenager, that very kind of whiny, angry, angsty teenager. He plays that really well. And he has a lot of great scenes where, he is very close to opening up, but he fights against it. So, he just won't allow himself to feel something. So he plays that, I think, really well. Kevin Kline really is great in this film as well. He's hiding the fact that he's dying of cancer. He doesn't tell anybody. So kind of seeing Hayden really kind of treat him like garbage is really hard to see, because what Kevin Kline is going through, what he's hiding. And then his relationship with Kristen Scott Thomas, his ex-wife, he doesn't tell her either. So in her kind of coming and wanting to help with this project and kind of help with, getting her son out of this very kind of drug-induced haze in this very kind of negative teen phase. She kind of rebuilds her bond with Kevin Kline as well, so that plays into some emotional aspects too. You know, then he has like city planners and like a very kind of snobby rich neighbor who is constantly kind of coming for him in terms of calling like the city board and you know, trying to get his whole rebuilding of this house shut down, and all kinds of stuff like that. Ian Somerhalder plays into this story as well. Mary Steenburgen is playing a character who has a similar kind of story moment to another character she played in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. So you kind of, once you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's a very emotional story. Great performances, I think. Just a great kind of father-son situation. In this father really just trying to open up his son and do something for him, and that's going to not only help him grow as a person, help him kind of get out of this very negative place, but also kind of build their relationship and leave his son with something before he passes away. So it's all about kind of legacy and just a great father-son story, and kind of in the building of this house, it kind of grows into a bit of a community aspect as well, and that's kind of makes for some really sweet emotional moments as well. So very heartfelt, very emotional, and I just really love the story. And yeah, so if you can put up with a whiny Hayden Christensen for a little bit, you'll actually get some really interesting performances here. Some things that I think people might see as problematic today, in terms of things with Jena Malone's character. But overall, I think it's a great, interesting story, an emotional story, a well-told and acted story, just about this really tough relationship between these two characters, and very much dysfunctional. So yeah, Life is a House. If you have not seen it, I recommend checking it out. Yeah, I really enjoy this movie. It's very sad. And very sweet, and really, you know, there are some moments of comedy and levity in there as well. So I would highly recommend it, and check it out. So that is my review for another dysfunctional family film. Thank you for checking out my thoughts on Life as a House. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want to see my next review of another dysfunctional family film. And I will see you guys in the next one.